Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to paint this lovely little pastel still life using a limited selection of pastels. Grab what you have, grab some paper, and we are going to get cracking on this still life that I set up this morning. And if you love pastels and want to learn more, I have a special deal on my Soft Pastel for Beginners class. You can click the special discount link in the video description and save 40% through the end of September 2025. So with all that out of the way, let's grab our supplies and paint this real time in less than half an hour. Today I thought we would do this little still life that I set up of some tomatoes from my garden and a salt and pepper shaker. I thought that would be kind of fun. And I've got some velour paper here. I'm not sure. I think I picked this up actually at the craft store in the scrapbooking section, so I'm hoping it works well with pastels like the Hanamula velour paper I have. Because I really like that, but I didn't have a green sheet left, so I went with this instead. And we are going to use these new pastels that I received from EARTHBERRY that I will be reviewing at some point in the near future. And we're just gonna, I'm hoping that I can use the colors from this set to do this painting. And here they are. And I'm gonna start by sketching in. I think I'll sketch in with, I think I'll use this light peach color, I think. And I'm going to start with the tomato at the bottom. I've kind of got this, it's like a square composition, so hopefully I can keep that like that. I think that would be nice too, because my photo I've taken kind of like a square, so I think it'll be nice to share online. I'm going to get the width first because I have all kinds of room for the height, so I don't have to worry about that so much. So we got our 3 tomatoes in there. Now I want to get the salt shaker. And I could go like, okay, I can look at my photo and I can say, oops, what is exposed to the salt shaker over the tomato is about the same height as the tomato. So if I go like that, I can tell that the salt shaker should be right about like that. So using elements in your picture to help you kind of get everything in proportion is handy. I also don't want this to get like overworked and fussy, so I'm trying to keep my sketch pretty light and pretty easy. And then we've got this pepper mill. I've had this pepper mill since my first apartment, since the 90s. Oh, I really like it. It's such a fun. I'm trying to see how far into, so it goes less than half of the way into that tomato. So if I look at the tomato's that wide, and I look at how far into the tomato that goes, only goes into about 1/3 of the way of the tomato, so something like that. I do want to keep the background. I might make that tomato actually might want to be a little bit bigger. I do want to keep the background fairly clean if I can. In fact, I think I'll draw a line up to represent the center. It's kind of tricky with these chunky pastels. Okay, so that would be the orange line. I can put a little bit of a background in there, but I want to keep a bunch of that green showing. Because I think it's kind of pretty. Well, that gives us a pretty good rough sketch of our tomato and our little scene here. Okay, now I don't want to be fussy. I want to try to keep the colors pretty fresh. I'm looking between my actual still life. I'm looking between the photo of the still life, just so I can try to keep my perspective about the same. I don't have all the same colors that I need. But I'm going to improvise because I really wanted to stick to this selection of 30 colors. I should have enough in there to do that. So the top of this should be green, but I'm gonna add some of this teal to it. I also will add some into the salt shaker. And I think I'll use some of this purple color here. This is not like a, standard color set. I think it's called the Grand Canyon set. So it's got a lot of those Southwest colors, but I also thought that would work really well with the subject here. I'm using some of this deep purple eggplanty color. Let's get some reds in and some oranges in. Generally, working dark to light with pastel is a good option because it keeps you from getting too muddy. One thing I love about these, about the velour paper, is that it grabs the dust so you don't have to use fixative. A little bit of yellow. And since it's lighter, it's not making mud, it's laying down on top really well. These are nice and soft. They kind of remind me softness-wise of Sennelier, and also density-wise, they kind of have that same feeling of Sennelier, just in a square or blocky format. Oh, I love how that red layers up over the purple and the yellow. That's really nice. This color is really pretty. Oh, I like how I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm really enjoying how this is coming together, how quickly it's coming together. Okay, it's got a really deep dip in the back of it. I want to make sure I depict that. We do have a little bit of some yellow tones in there, not a ton. Nice thing about having this limited palette is that you don't get confused about what you've used. Now, one thing I do want to mention about these pastels, and I didn't realize it when they reached out to me and asked me if I could use them, if I would want to review them, is that this is a Russian company, so I mean, I don't think any independent seller of anything has much to do with the political things going on, but I do know that some people would wish not to support Russian companies, so I just wanted to mention that in case, because I didn't know until it was shipped to me that that's where the products were coming from. I just wanted to make sure you were aware if it's something you wish to avoid. And I'm not getting into politics here, so you can use any pastels, doesn't have to be these. But I did want to mention that, I mean, I've had comments on my channel saying that because I'm an American YouTuber, that they're not going to watch any of my channels until we have a new administration. And it's like, well, I have nothing to do with that. I am sorry. Nothing I can do about that. But I also didn't want anyone to order these and be like, wait a minute, I know they were coming from Russia. I didn't want to buy them in that case. I just believe in being open, and you guys can make your own decisions. there's no green. I don't know what I'm going to do. I wasn't thinking about there being no green for the green stems. I wonder if I can mix the purple. Oh, is the purple blue enough, or is it just going to make mud, you know? So I might have to, well, there's this green. It's kind of brownish green. We can give that a try. That's got a little bit of, maybe if I use this and we highlight with yellow, it'll read green enough. This set also doesn't have a white in it, but it does have a really pale kind of mushroom shade, so I think I'll be all right with that. I don't think that's going to give me any problems. It's fun to work in a limited palette, I think. Often with a limited palette too, it forces you to mix, and it kind of gives you a bit of almost like a more sophisticated look if you're not using a ton of different colors. I have to figure out what to do for my shadow color. Do you want to have some shadow color? Oh, that looks good. Sometimes I'll just swatch it on the masking tape or whatever. Wow, look at this, 10 minutes. Look how much we've got in here. That's one of the reasons I really like pastels, is you can get so much done in a small amount of time. I like the shape of these blocks. I have plenty of pastel. Okay, so I have plenty of pastels, but I haven't tried like all the fancy brands. My favorite pastels, and it's not that I want to do a whole painting with them because they're too soft to use for everything, but my favorite pastels are the Schmincke pastels. They're made in Germany. They're just so buttery soft. Actually, they do kind of remind me of this, but these feel like, if I would say what the pastels are made of, how they're manufactured, these just feel a lot more like Sennelier, but still very soft. So if you're familiar with Sennelier pastels, that's what these feel like to me. But I still need, in general, unless I'm doing just a quick piece, like this is going to be a fairly quick piece, unless I'm doing just a quick piece, I need some soft pastels, I need some harder pastels, because I would need to layer up. But the velour holds so much that I don't feel like I need to. Let me see if I can get a nice straight line. Oh yeah, I don't feel like I need to layer up so much, because this is going to be alla prima, or done all at once, that's what alla prima stands for. It's that center. Now I don't have very dramatic lighting here because my studio is set up for filming. So my lights are kind of all over and in a fairly even, they're set up to be even everywhere. So because of that, we don't see as much like spotlighting. I'm kind of wondering, it's like my pepper mill is red, but I think it would actually look better if I did that in purple. And that's what we do. We make choices when we're painting. We change things up. We change things up to make it look better. I'm going to flip that upside down, see if I can get that pepper mill a little bit more. I wonder if I can lift up a little bit. I made that too wide on the base, I think. So I'm going to try to lift that a little bit with my my crate. Look at this. This like morphed. It's like, I don't know, a couple needed erasers together. Okay. I'll just put a shadow back there, I think. Oh, I'm going to be putting some shadows in there. I wish that was a little bit more vibrant. Let's do this gray here. Oh, that's so nice and soft. So there's no white and no black. I may need to get like a nice crisp black new pastel, but I'm going to try to avoid, I'm going to try to just use what's in here. And I'm going to go with this for that. The thicker parts of the glass can sometimes pull in these. Oh, I love that color though. Isn't that a pretty color? I really like that. Yeah, sometimes the thicker areas of glass can refract. We'll have that almost like you look through like an empty Coke bottle. I like the way that looks. You look through an empty Coke bottle and you'll see on the edges where the glass is thick. It looks a little green or blue. Do some highlights for that color too and see what we think. Might be a little too blue for that. But I have put some, I'm just going to put a little bit over in a few different places since it doesn't have to be my brightest highlight. Oh, we've got this color too. That's like almost like a super light purple. Let's try some of that. I don't want to overdo anything. I want to use an economy of strokes. Now there's like a deformity on this tomato where it kind of like, it almost looked like it split and stitched itself back up. And I think that's kind of neat. So I mean, when I set this up, I put that so that would be facing me. I don't know if I have a dark enough value in here, but maybe if I can lighten up around it enough, I can get the illusion of it being dark enough. You know, putting some elements around so we shift the values a bit. And I mean, this is such a complex tomato. Probably can't render it in a really soft pastel that accurately with that much detail, but I kind of want to get, so I'm seeing this bluish white highlight over there. I like to skip around a bit on the different fruit because sometimes you get a little bit too stuck on one, and then you need to give your eyes a little bit of a break so that you'll know when you come back to it, you'll be able to see what's off. Now the stem's there. I'm hoping I can use a little bit of yellow and get these, I'm just tapping onto a clear part of my table that I can wipe off with a wet rag when I'm done. That one actually does have little stem, a little bit of shriveled up stem to it. Don't forget the bounced highlight. Of course, I have it on a white cloth, and this is on a green background, so just got to keep that in mind. That back there needs to be a little bit darker. I'm thinking this dark purple might be contrasting enough. It's hard to put the darks in over the lighter colors in pastel, just like with oil paint, so you've got to keep that in mind. I do like how vibrant this purple is, though. It's not like a traditional dark. It's got nice vibrancy and depth to it. It's fun to experiment with these different colors, you know, because you don't really know how they're going to look until you've got them on the painting. I don't know if I like that gold color in the center there, since I changed the colors here to fit the colors I had available, but maybe I can shift it with something. Let's see what happens if I add some blue to this section. Not sure if I like that. What about some pink? Oh, actually, you know what? That pink might be nice in our tomatoes. That might give us another... I'll get a little bit of crumbliness here, but nothing that I wouldn't, you know, it's nothing that's, you know, shocking for how soft these are. I also feel like you can have a little bit of this pink in the salt too, because it would be picking up colors. It would gently be picking up colors from everywhere else. It's kind of fun. It's like, what else can I use? What else can I use? There's so many muted tones in here. I'm not sure. I think they're beautiful. And when you do pastels, I think any sort of dry media, you tend to want to have more colors. Pan pastels you can get away with having fewer because you have the tools that you can, you know, lift up the color and mix before you bring them to the paper a little bit more. But in general, I think pastel artists really like to have some extra colors, and they'll have like big fields of colors, like their pastel. If you've ever seen pastel, people that do pastels all the time, these beautiful, just like fields of color just laid out. Oh, that's a nice color. Laid out in their workspace is just really inspiring. I feel like I'm getting pretty close to filling everything up, and I don't want to regret anything. I think I need to go in here with something a little bit darker. I feel like that's a little bit crooked and weird, but I'm going with my lightest color that's in this whole set, which is this very like almost just off-white color, and just try to just try to, you know, bring everything together, because my tooth is getting filled up. and I don't want to overdo it. And I feel like I'm getting ready to overdo it here if I mess with it too much. But hey, you know what? I think that looks pretty good. I want to do a little bit of highlight on the foreground, maybe just to show the wrinkles in the fabric. But yeah, this was great. This was really fun to do with these Earthberry pastels. Quality-wise, I recommend them. I think they're really nice. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to learn more about soft pastels, I have a course called Soft Pastels for Beginners. I will link that down below, and I will put a coupon code so you can save 40% off through the end of September. How about that? I'm just making this up as I go. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!